to defend reproductive freedom from out-of-state anti-choice attacks. Texas bars abortion at all stages of pregnancy and has been one of the most aggressive states at pushing back against abortion rights. I'm Ed Donahue.
Donald Trump's inauguration fund is getting a boost from two tech giants. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
Both Amazon and Meta, Facebook's parent, confirmed donations of $1 million. Amazon also said the e-commerce giant will stream January's presidential inauguration on its Prime Video service, a separate in-kind donation worth another $1 million. The Meta donation came just weeks after CEO Mark Zuckerberg met with Trump privately at Mar-a-Lago. Next week, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos is scheduled to sit down with the president-elect. Greg Clugston, Washington.
It's unclear if that buzzing sound coming out of New Jersey is drones or something else, but for sure the nighttime sightings are producing tons of talk, a raft of conspiracy theories, and craned necks looking skyward. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy is demanding answers, however, since there have been quite a few sightings. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 86 points, the Nasdaq rose 23, the S&P down a fraction. More at townhall.com.
Right now, with an important
new administration has hinted at one of its boldest moves yet, America's return to the gold standard. Backing the U.S. dollar with gold would create stability in a time of rapid economic change, pushing the price of gold higher than we've seen in decades. Those who act now could be positioned to benefit the most. Premier Gold specializes in helping those with a 401k, IRA, or other types of retirement accounts utilize a little-known loophole to move some of their savings into physical gold. Today, they'd like to send you a free gold standard kit to help you decide if this process is right for you. Call 606-800-8000 to take advantage of current rollover policies. Early action on physical gold could position your portfolio for maximum growth. Call Premier Gold at 606-800-8000. Call 606-800-8000 now. Premier Gold is not a financial advisor. Please consult with your advisor before investing. Call 606-800-8000.
One of football's most iconic pass catchers is battling cancer.
NFL Hall of Fame wide receiver Randy Moss announced that he has been battling a cancer found in his bowel duct between his pancreas and liver on Instagram Live. Moss, aided by a cane, introduced himself as a cancer survivor and thanked his prayer warriors for their support. He had a Whipple procedure to put a stent on his liver on Thanksgiving after experiencing urine discoloration. Moss spent the last 6 days in the hospital before getting out on Friday and said he's nursing himself back to full health with chemotherapy and radiation. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
The New York Yankees have acquired all-star closer Devin Williams from the Milwaukee Brewers for left-hander Nestor Cortez and infield prospect Caleb Durbin. The Yankees will also send $2 million to the Brewers. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters.
This is Fran Halloran, the Money Coach. Grow with the point as we build on 10 incredible years of community local radio. We've built an environment where our listeners are our family. Are you a small business with big dreams? Join the tremendous stable of advertising partners at The Point. Connect with Kevin Cohen and brainstorm a tailored strategy to escalate your business growth using the powerful platform of The Point. Call Kev directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, you can make the next year your best year.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. Ooh, you shouldn't have pressed that button. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Now you get this.
It's a Friday night in South Carolina, and that means high school football. Welcome to the Founders Federal High School Scoreboard with Phil Kornblut and David Shelton. We've got all the scores from across the state, plus game reports and interviews with coaches. The High School Scoreboard is proudly brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now, let's head to the Scoreboard Studios in Columbia. Here's Phil Kornblut.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome into the High School Football Scoreboard here on the Sports Talk Media Network. We are at South Carolina State, where we are into the last 2 minutes of the second game of the day, and this has been a classic. This might go down as the game of the year in South Carolina. This is the 4A state championship game, and it is between Westside and South Florence, a rematch of last year's game. Right now, with 2 minutes to go, South Florence has just scored to go up 42-35. Now, as you may know, David Shelton is not with us right now. David's in the hospital, but we will be hearing from him about 10:30 tonight. We have deputized Chris Deering from the Prep Red Zone to step in and help us out, and he's doing a fantastic job, and he is on the sideline there on Willie Jeffries Field watching this one from up close if he can hear me from the crowd noise. Chris, are you there?
I am here, sir. Man, what a game that we have going on here. With 2 minutes to go now, exactly.
Yeah, it sounds like the crowd is. I can hear it up here in the press box how excited everybody is, and this has been a true back and forth game. Neither team able to really grab this one by the throat and pull away.
No, it's been a game of two different styles and ways they want to move the football. Cutter Woods with 5 touchdown passes. Make that 6 touchdown passes.
Oh.
He just threw another long one. And South Florence been doing it on the ground. So this is, man, what a shootout, Phil. That's all I can say right now.
42-41. Cutter Woods is just cutting up the South Florence secondary, as you mentioned. Now, are they going to go for 2 or will they tie this thing up? What are they going to do?
Looks like they are bringing Cutter Woods back out, so they're going for 2.
Oh, my. This could be your ball game right here with 1:52. We'll let you hang on for a second. We want to stay away from any descriptions because we don't have the right to do descriptions. Earlier today in 5A Division I, it was Dutch Fork and Somerville, and the final score was a 2-touchdown spread with Dutch Fork winning 35-21, but it was only a 1-touchdown difference until about 2 minutes to go. So that was a tight ball game as well. And Somerville playing without their starting quarterback for the last 3 quarters because he went down with an injury, and they had to go to the backup, who came in and did a pretty good job. But we'll talk more about that in just a moment. Let's go down to Chris, and it looks like South Florence survived that 2-point attempt by Westside.
Yeah, it was. They ran a double reverse. It looked like they wanted to throw it back to Cutter Woods, but he was covered. They threw it in the end zone. It was tipped up. And I don't have the roster right in front of me, Phil, but number 5 for South Florence intercepted in the end zone, and they're in pretty good shape with 1:52 to go and leading 42-41.
Can you tell, I don't know what the scoreboard will show you, can you tell the timeout situation?
No, because the scoreboard's not really showing that. I know Westside has used at least 1 in this half. 2 timeouts. They have 2 timeouts left.
All right. Number 5 is Avon Rosado for South Florence, who made the play, the defensive play there. So we'll have to talk about it when you and Lou Bajak join me back up here once you finish up, whenever that will be. But that will be discussed, going for 2 instead of, because they had been kicking. They had kicked all their point afters up to that point, so there's no concern about their kicker. I guess that Brian Lane felt like it was time to try to put the boot down on the old throat there.
Yeah, I think he thought with 1:52 to go, the way South Florence has been running the football and been methodical. But on the flip side, Jaden Sellers had a big game as well. I guess he thought if he got the lead here, he could turn it over to his defense and let them hold it. But now he's probably got to try an onside kick here to try to get it back.
Has anybody played any defense out there of any type?
No, I actually have been thinking about this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to write about many defensive players in this game tonight.
Well, I'm looking at now. There is
the interception.
Well, now I'm looking at the stats center for the game. Jamison Wilson from Westside has been credited with 20 tackles.
And that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and R.J. Livingston with 13. Looking at South Florence, Willie Kennedy He's got 3. It's like there's a lot fewer tackles made by South Florence than Westside. Of course, Westside has been scoring on nothing but big plays, right? It's not like they've been lining up and driving the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what it's at right now, but I know late in the third quarter it was like South Florence had run 53 plays, and I think Westside had run 14 at that point. So the Westside defense has been on the field the entire game. I've never seen a game in these two different styles the way they're doing it. It's been a long time since I've seen a game like this, and I told you before I came down, been doing this a number of years. This might be in the top 5 state championship games I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is probably going to go down because it is a state championship game and it's being played out this way, it's probably going to go down as the game of the year in high school football all season long in South Carolina. I'm going to go over the stats here when I cut you loose in a minute, and they are strange the way these stats line up one way against the other. What's happening on the onside? Have we gotten that done yet?
They've had back-to-back penalties. They've been offside. So we haven't done anything with that just yet.
Okay, we'll hang with you until we see what happens here, and then we'll decide what we're going to do from there. Let me tell everybody what we've got coming up. More coverage of the earlier championship games. We'll hear from the coaches. We'll go over what happened in the games last night and the earlier one today. And then Monty Dutton is going to join us to talk about the Clinton championship. We've got Coach Corey Fountain of Clinton coming up later on. Coach Jamie Nichols of Abbeville coming up later on as well to talk with them. I mentioned that David Shelton will be with us. We're also going to have Coach Scott Early with us a little bit after 11 o'clock to talk about the championships, the season, and getting ready for the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, which will be 1 week from tomorrow in Myrtle Beach. Okay, what's happening down there, Chris?
They finally were able to get the onside kick, but South Florence recovered. I didn't catch a number, but they have the ball at the west side, looks like about the 41, 42-yard line, and they could try to milk the clock out here, I'm sure.
Okay, I'll let you.
Almost, if you're west side, you might have to let them score here.
Yeah.
Get the ball back and have a chance.
But I would think South Florence won't fall for that. I would think that they will just.
No.
I think they would just take the old knee here and let the clock run out. Well, they're not taking a knee; they are running it up the middle. So I'll let you go. If anything changes, we'll come back to you. But we'll let you go get in position for post game, and then we'll talk to you back up here.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris Deering, Prep Red Zone. And with us tonight here on the high school scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union, 42-41 South Florence. Now listen to these numbers. Listen to these numbers. First down, South Florence 28, Westside 11. Rushing, South Florence 362 yards on 61 attempts. Westside 48 yards on 9 attempts. Passing, South Florence 9 of 11 for 134 yards. Westside 9 of 14, but for 384 yards. Westside has run only 23 plays, but for 432 yards. 23 plays for 432 yards. South Florence has run 73 plays for 497 yards. Westside has averaged nearly 19 yards per snap. Imagine that, 19 yards per snap. And South Florence is averaging 7 yards a snap. And that looks like a poor outing compared to the other guys. And let's see, penalties, 8 for 88 on Westside, 7 for 58 on South Florence. How about this? Time of possession. I don't think I've ever seen this. Time of possession. South Florence, 37 minutes and 32 seconds, and Westside, 8 minutes and 36 seconds. Obviously, nothing but big plays tonight for Westside. As I go over the scoring, as this one is inside of 50 seconds, Westside, 7-0, pass to Bomar for 38 yards. South Florence, Sellers with a touchdown reception of 18 yards, 7-7. Westside, a 74-yard pass to Evans. And then Bomar with a 69-yard touchdown catch. Westside's up 21-7 in the second quarter. South Florence, 2-yard run by Jackson and a 1-yard run by Jackson. We're tied up in the third quarter at 21. Westside, 74-yard pass to Weaver for a touchdown. South Florence, Sellers, a 23-yard reception for a touchdown. We're still tied at 28. Then it was Bomar, 56 yards for a touchdown to put Westside up 35-28. Then Sellers, a 31-yard touchdown catch, and Trey Leonard, a 40-yard touchdown run. They go up 42-35. Westside with a 50-yard touchdown pass to Bomar. And the two-point conversion was intercepted, so that's why we are sitting at 42-41 with 45 seconds to go. So an incredible number of big scoring plays for Westside. I mean, they didn't need to be on the field very long at all with those big scoring plays. But they are trailing 42-41, and they're going to have one last opportunity. I'm having to look on the big screen on the field because I'm sitting back in the press box, trying not to disturb the Hall of Fame writers that are in the press box. And there are a few. There are a few Hall of Fame writers in here. And so Westside's got the ball, 42-41, 39 seconds to go. And they are, looks like they're at their 1-yard line. Looks like South Florence punted them down to the 1-yard line. So we'll just kind of hold it here for a minute. Again, I cannot give you descriptions because you pay for radio rights to do play-by-play, and we're certainly not going to violate that, but we'll tell you if something big happens here. But the way Westside's been throwing the ball, the way Cutter Woods has been finding people open, I wouldn't be surprised if he connects with somebody here or there and gets down the field. So we'll let you know what happens with this as it plays out. So earlier today, state championship number 9 for Dutch Fork, 35-21 over Summerville. That is 9 state championships, all under Tom Knotts. That's 16 state championships total for him between North and South Carolina. As I mentioned, this was a close ball game until Dutch Fork knocked in a final touchdown with 2:07 to play to give them the 2-score advantage. Up until then, it was a 1-score advantage. But Summerville was having to play without their starting quarterback, who got hurt late in the first quarter, suffered a knee injury, and that's no doubt that hurts when you lose your starting quarterback. Summerville finished with 315 yards on 64 plays. Dutch Fork with 434 yards on 56 plays, 182 on the ground and 252 through the air. And this was a physical, sometimes nasty game. There were some personal fouls. There were some unsportsmanlikes. Both teams were penalized 10 times. After the game, Coach Knotts talked about he wasn't real happy with, obviously he was happy with the win and the championship, wasn't real happy with how his guys carried themselves out there on the field, and he said that would be addressed. There were some things that happened that were out of character, he felt. Maurice Anderson, real fast back for Dutch Fork, had 146 yards rushing to lead them. Their quarterback, Ethan Offing, was 12 of 23 for 252 yards, and Boykin Bickley had 7 catches for 149 yards for Dutch Fork. For Somerville was led by Javen Williams, who is an up-and-coming prospect from what we understand, a very, very speedy kid, and he showed it today. And he rushed for 133 yards on 22 carries to lead the offense. And, again, they were having to use their backup quarterback in Cooper Kafina, and he actually came in and did a nice job. 13 of 27, 173 yards. He was picked off twice. The starter, Jaden Cummings, suffered what appeared to be a knee injury late in the first quarter. He was 2 for 4 for 33 yards up until that point. So another one for Dutch Fork, 35-21. They just continue to roll out championship teams after championship teams, and I see no reason why Tom Knotts, maybe by next year, won't join the likes of John McKissick and Willie Varner atop the state with 10 state championships. You'd have to figure Dutch Fork's going to be right there come next season. Okay, there are 8 seconds to go, and it's 42-41. And we're going to go to a break. We'll come back and see how this thing turns out in the 4A championship game. But as we go to the break, it is South Florence on top, 42-41, in what has been one heck of a ball game. And one that will be talked about a long, long time for what happened on the field, the way the plays were made, but also the way this thing's going to look in the stat box. When you look back at this game 10 years from now and you look at the stats, you're going to go, whoa, that was a wild one. We'll be right back on the High School Scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union.
Some insurance carriers are based in another state or only have an online presence. Not at Farm Bureau Insurance. They're a local South Carolina company that believes commitment comes with a handshake. Become part of the Farm Bureau Insurance family today by calling Buddy Bridges at 864-984-0413 or stop by the Upstate office at 726 East Main Street in Lawrence.
Avoiding excess financial stress from the holidays doesn't take a Christmas miracle. All it takes is a Christmas loan from Founders Federal Credit Union. Our Christmas loan is designed to ease your Yuletide expenses so you can focus on what matters most, spreading joy and love. With our great rates, flexible repayment options, and outstanding service, you'll be ready for whatever the holidays might throw your way. Visit foundersfcu.com/Christmas loan to unwrap your own magic this Christmas. Relax with Founders Federal Credit Union. Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA. Membership qualification required. Required.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at sccattle.org. Beef, it's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff Program.
All right, it's gone final. South Florence beats Westside 42-41 to win the 4A state championship. What a wild game, just full of highlights. My goodness, we'll go back over all that a little bit later. Monty Dutton is joining us. Of course, Monty with us every Friday night covering the Clinton Red Devils. Asked him to check back in with us one more time because he had to cover a championship team, maybe a championship celebration. Monty, welcome in. How are you?
I'm great. I've just had a really unique experience.
What's
because,
that?
I said, well, I'll call in early and I'll get right on the air. This game was going on, and I had the game on TV. And so I had to, I muted the sound on the TV to talk to you. And, of course, then I realized I'm sitting there and y'all are talking about the game while I'm watching it on TV. And the game was slightly ahead. Y'all were slightly ahead of the game. So I was actually but I'm just saying, I've watched a lot of games on TV, and I've talked on a lot of radio shows, but I've never had this live and not live experience before.
Well, I'm glad we could help make your night tonight by doing that. Now, let me ask you about the town of Clinton today. What's it been like? What was it like last night when you got back? How'd the folks react to the championship?
Well, there's going to be a live radio event tomorrow morning on the local radio station that's going to have a lot of people there at a local fast food restaurant. But they already had the team on Christmas on the Christmas parade before they went down there. But this is I'm going to tell you, Clinton travels well, but I really was amazed that many people could get down 100 miles on a work day for a 2 p.m. game. And I think that's probably the thing I remember the most, because I think that the Clinton-Barnwell game, I think I've seen part of it, I think it's had the biggest crowd of any game, the 2A championship.
Yeah. It was a big turnout by Clinton and Barnwell. I mean, both teams should be proud. Both cities should be proud of the fan turnout. So have you had a chance to follow up with Coach Fountain or any of the players since yesterday and get their thoughts about what they achieved and how they did it?
Well, I talked to a lot of them after the game, but I haven't left the house but once today. It's a long, long day from getting up and heading down there. But I'll tell you this. When I was just watching this other game, here's where Clinton's big edge was, is that as the season as it got into the playoffs and people had scouted them, other teams started keying on Javen Cook, Clinton's leading rusher, who had over 1,800 yards. But the thing is, Clinton has so many weapons, because that just opened the door for everybody else. And I know you saw the game yesterday, but I've been raving about how good Clinton's quarterback, Deshaun Richardson, is.
Yeah.
And how he doesn't throw often, but he throws well. And he had a 70-yard run on the second play of the game yesterday. And he just, the way that he runs their running offense is really fun to watch, except when I'm trying to take a picture and I take the fake and don't get with it. But I got a picture in the day after story today that I wrote that shows on an end around Richardson, the quarterback, making an effective lead block. And and I was also thinking just a while ago I saw the South Florence quarterback make a long run and slide down. Well, that was smart, but I don't think I've seen a high school player do that all year. I love covering high school football, and it's a little bit better because when you walk the sidelines with the same team so many times, you just make observations and get to know the kids, and you get to know their parents and stuff like that. I think someone has taken my picture with Javen Cook 3 times this year. But but Clinton has had a rough year. We got wrecked by Helene, and then before that, a good portion of a serious part of downtown was burned to the ground. I was thinking yesterday that if that fire had happened yesterday, the whole town would have burned down.
Yeah, I tell you, they have had a tough time of it, and I got to believe, and we got about 30 seconds, Monty, got to believe that a state championship like this uplifts everybody in Clinton.
Well, you can tell that by the people that went all the way down to Orangeburg yesterday. Yes, it's I was watching this. Clinton is I was sort of rooting for South Florence because they're a running team. Because in Clinton, kids start running as soon as they come out of the womb.
This is true. That's where they first learn. But I'll leave you with this: Westside loses. They scored 41 points, but they only had 28 plays. They had 400. They had 459 yards on 28 plays.
I have never heard of anything like that. Although I can see that from watching the highlights late at night of it.
Yeah, crazy. Monty, thank you so much. Enjoy the off season. We'll talk to you next football season. Monty Dutton, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in just a moment.
Do you crave growth for your business? That's where The Point comes in. Fran Halloran here. Kevin Cohen and the other local hosts like me have worked to create a space where listeners transform into family. Are you a local business aiming for the stars? You need to get with Kevin and let him help create an individualized blueprint for your growth using the influential stage of The Point Radio. Reach out directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, make this year extraordinary.
Need a break but worried about your furry friend? Don't forget, a Paws Paradise, the vacation spot your dog dreams about. Picture this: tail wags, endless play, and all the care your pooch needs while you're away. Whether it's a quick weekend or a lavish getaway, we've got you covered. Don't just take a vacation, give one. Visit apawsparadise.com or dial 551-0323 today. A Paws Paradise, where every dog has its day.
With SRN News, I'm Ron Taylor. Texas has sued a New York doctor for prescribing abortion pills to a Texas woman via telemedicine. It appears to be the first challenge in the U.S. to a state to shield that it's intended to protect prescribers in Democratic-controlled states from being punished by states with abortion bans. Exuberant Syrians observed the first Friday prayer since the ouster of President Bashar Assad, gathering in the capital's historic main mosque, its largest square, and around the country to celebrate the end of a half a century of authoritarian rule. The newly installed interim prime minister delivered the sermon at the mosque, declaring that a new era of freedom, dignity, and justice was dawning for Syria. The military has brought an American who was imprisoned in Syria for 7 months out of the country. Travis Timmerman has been flown to Jordan on a U.S. military helicopter. The 29-year-old Timmerman told the Associated Press earlier Friday he had gone to Syria on a Christian pilgrimage and was not ill-treated. This is SRN News.
Right now with an important alert.
This is Ian with AccuClean. With the holiday season and gatherings with friends and family quickly approaching, now is the perfect time to get your carpets, rugs, and upholstery cleaned. AccuClean is a veteran-owned and local carpet cleaning company located in the Midlands for over 20 years. Call AccuClean today at 803-957-1202 to make sure your carpets are refreshed this holiday season. Once again, that's AccuClean at 803-957-1202. We hope to see you soon.
After losing 3 games in a row against quality opponents, the Panthers will look to put it all together and get back in the win column this Sunday as they host the Dallas Cowboys. I'm Jim Zoki with a Panthers update after this.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season, and that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
While the Panthers are disappointed with the outcome of their last 3 games, the progress being shown is undeniable on both offense and defense. Outside linebacker DJ Wanham has made an immediate impact since joining the active roster 4 games ago, and the defense is coming together, including 13 quarterback sacks over the past 3 games.
I feel like it's just the accumulation of the season of us growing, bonding together, working at our craft, and theoretically speaking, for the defense was fresh, so now it's getting more set into it and really learning it, rushing off each other, communicating better in the rush game. Like, it's just an accumulation of things we've been working at all year.
On offense, quarterback Bryce Young has been solid and settled into being the starter. Coach Dave Canales on the development of the second-year signal caller.
The confidence comes from all the hard work, and I think that Bryce gets himself to a point because of all the studying, because of all the challenges in practice, pushing himself and all that, to where when we're in these situations and games, the call comes in, he knows what the call is, now he's just got to do his part, and that's the cool part, but that's also just a part of what he brought before. And I love seeing it happen over and over in these games. It's consistency, and I think that's something he'd be up here telling you, like, if he prides himself on one thing, it's consistency, and he's just able to continue to show up and just do his one part in those situations.
I'm Jim Zoki on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network, brought to you by Morris Jenkins.
Someone will be right with you. Please continue to hold. The point.
All right, back we are on the high school football scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. And what a day it's been. 2 more games, 2 state championships, 4 games down, and 2 to go tomorrow. You got the 3A championship game, Oceanside Collegiate in Belton Honeypath. That's your 3A championship. That is the 12 o'clock game tomorrow. And then the 6 o'clock game will be the last one of the championship week. That'll be the 5A Division II game. That will be Irmo and Northwestern. And you think you saw some offensive highlights in this one tonight, then wait till you see that one tomorrow, because that one's going to be full of highlights as well. Okay. Let's go to JP. Have we heard from David yet? Okay. We were hoping to hear from David here about 10:30. At least that was his plan. So we shall move on for the time being and listen to the comments from Dutch Fork coach Tom Knotts after his team won their 9th state championship this afternoon, 35-21 over Summerville. That puts him within one championship of catching John McKissick and Coach Willie Varner. And, of course, he's got 16 overall from his time in Charlotte at Independence High School. I think he won all those championships at Independence. I don't think he was at another high school in North Carolina. So here he is as he talked with the media about getting another ring for the Silver Foxes today.
This was a little bit harder than maybe some people thought, but obviously you got it done in the clutch.
Well, I thought it'd be hard. I knew it'd be hard. That's a great football team. They got a great scheme. They got a great player in number 4. And, they just kept coming back and pounding at us. But I didn't like the way we won. Some things we did were, I thought, uncharacteristic. But we came out with a W, another state championship, 3-peat.
Coach, you guys went down there early, 14-6, and then went on a 22-0 scoring run. Just what was the key during that stretch?
Well, we just decided to play Dutch Fork football. We're always playing pretty decent defense, but we gave up some big plays. We just did the things that we were supposed to do.
A 3-peat, 9th championship in program history. Describe what that means when you hear me rattle off those type of numbers, Coach, of winning.
Well, it sounds pretty impressive, but it's due to a lot of different things. We've had great players, we got great coaches, great administration. I think we do things the right way. Didn't really show like we were great student athletes out there tonight, but it was an intense game. It got a little chippy and a little out of control, but we're able to come away with a victory. Well, we had a bunch of seniors, and I've said many times when they were JVs, I think they outscored people like 400-20, and they would have finished second in our region to our varsity. So that group now is seniors, and they're a special group with some special talents. So we thought this would definitely be our year once they got up here to be seniors.
Given the high standard you have for this program, you seem the type that's going to be watching the film and be a little irritated, even though you guys won a state title again.
I'm going to be irritated as crap. All right, so this takes a little fun out of the win when you win like that and you do some things like some of our guys did. They'll be addressed, I promise you.
When their quarterback goes down with the injury, how does that change things from your perspective defensively and how you're going to play them?
Well, we first were glad to see that he wasn't in there, but the other guy stepped in and did a great job. It put a little more emphasis on number 4 to get the football, and he's a great player. He's going to play on not just Saturday one day. He's going to play on Sunday one day. He's a great player and did a lot of really good things. But I thought 16 going down would change the game. I don't think it really did. 14 didn't miss a beat.
Coach, you talk about you're a little frustrated, but describe your excitement for the guys helping you complete.
Well, we're excited. We worked really hard. We started Christmas break for this one, and we worked a long time to try to get this. So it's really exciting. I'm happy for them.
Okay, Tom Knotts, coach at Dutch Fork. Hello, Tom Knotts, coach at Dutch Fork with the win, and we'll talk more about the victory by Dutch Fork in just a moment. We do have now with us our normal co-host here on the High School Football Scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. He is the best in the business, David Shelton. High School Sports Report, Charleston Post and Courier. And he's on the sidelines right now, but we are all hoping that he'll be back on the side, off those sidelines and on a real sideline in the near future. David, welcome in. How are you feeling, my man?
Well, this is a hot call from Trident Hospital Room 304.
How you feeling?
I first of all, I want to say I'm overwhelmed by the show of support since the news broke. Basically, to inform everyone, I did have a heart attack several weeks ago. I had a heart attack, and then got progressively sicker and weaker. My heart got really weak, and then I had trouble breathing, and that's when I've come to the doctor, and I've been here all week, and I'm going to be here. They said 5 weeks, so they can't do open heart surgery yet. I have 3 blockages. They can't do it yet because my heart's not strong enough. So they're going to give it a few days, maybe a week, and just keep me here and keep me medicined up and keep me trying to get stronger. And then we'll attack it. I mean, but plans could change tomorrow, they said. Mm-hmm. So, but I do have a long road ahead. I mean, we're not trying to sugarcoat it. It's not going to be easy, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. If I can get through it, I'll be a much healthier guy, and that's important to me. Because I have a lot of things I still want to do and with my speaking and, to be honest, I don't care if I ever write another story, but I will, but that's not my focus right now. My focus is, I want to be able to go speak in January and work with the Coaches Association and really try to educate kids. And like the doctor told me today, he said, well, let's just give you something else you can add into your story.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, but the support that I've been getting, text messages, Twitter messages, phone calls, it's been unbelievable. I honestly didn't know that many people gave a damn, but they obviously do. And you're one of them. And, so it's been fun. I've been watching the games.
Good.
Watched both games last night. I just watched South Florence. What a game that was!
Oh my goodness!
Kind of wish I was definitely there tonight, but and I think tomorrow is going to be the same thing. I think tomorrow's games, that Irmo Northwestern game at the end of the night, man, what a capper! If they can match what we just saw. Man, we're going to be in for a treat because I definitely think both those teams will score a lot of points.
All right. Enough of the health stuff, okay? You're a healthy dude as far as we're concerned tonight on the scoreboard, so time to put on your football helmet and think analytically. So agree or disagree with the decision to go for 2 there at the end?
Disagree. But that's kind of been me for all of my career. I think you give your team an opportunity to tie the game, to win the game. Now you can say, well, if they get the 2, they're going to win the game, but the percentages is so tough. Now, granted, Cutter Woods was Joe Montana back there tonight, and you got to hope, but then he didn't even throw the last pass. That kind of confused me when they ran the reverse, and I'm like, you got Cutter Woods. Let him throw the ball in the end zone. But no, I would not have went for 2. I would have kicked it, tried to get to overtime. Again, I got the best quarterback in South Carolina. I got receivers coming from everywhere. I would have took my chances. But that's just me. I'm not getting paid to do it. And Brian Lane is an unbelievable tactician and football coach, and he obviously thought he had a play, and you can't fault the guy for that.
Well, Cutter had thrown nothing but like 50-yard bombs all night. Maybe he felt like he couldn't throw a 3-yard pass because he threw. David, the stats on this are just bizarre. Westside only had 28 plays for 459 yards. They averaged over 16 yards a play. 16 yards a play. Cutter Woods was 11 of 19 for 411 yards and 6 touchdowns. And, I mean, all of them were bombs. So it was just but then again, South Florence with the running game, and then Sellers, the receiver, the brother of Lenore's. Tell you, Gamecock fans have got to be ecstatic when they see what Cutter Woods did and what Jalen Sellers did. I mean, they know they got themselves a couple of Jaden Sellers with a D, Jayden. He had 7 receptions, 121 yards, 3 touchdowns. So they know they got a couple of sharp ones coming in based off this game.
And I'll say this, and you know, you got to preface this by saying 2 years ago, when I saw Lenore Sellers in the first game of the season against Goose Creek, I said, "Oh my God, this guy is unbelievable." And I've been on the Lenore Sellers bandwagon, even though he's playing for the wrong college. But I've been on his bandwagon since day one. And I will tell you, in my opinion, as far as a deep accuracy ball, Cutter Woods is better than Lenore Sellers. Now, obviously, Lenore does a lot of other things with his feet and the medium range stuff. But some of the throws Cutter Woods was making tonight, you know, traveling 55 yards in the air, hitting a guy in stride more than once. Now, a couple of them were screens that they turned into touchdowns. So, you know, the 74-yarder, he only threw the ball, or one of the yarders, I mean, he only threw the ball like 10 yards. And then they made plays, but the couple of balls that he let go, man, he's got special arm talent. And they're going to, in my opinion, they're going to find a way. I mean, assuming he can make the adjustment to college, they're going to find a way to get him in some snaps next season. Not challenge Lenore is by far and away the number one quarterback, but I think Cutter's got enough talent to maybe see the field in some situations.
All right, David, hang on. We're going to go to the break. You're going to stay with us? Your doctors let you stay with us?
Yeah, the nurse said I have till 11 o'clock, and then she's taking my phone away.
All right, well, hang on. We're going to hang up. We're going to go to the break and call Coach Nichols. He's waiting to hear from us, so we're going to talk about the Abbeville Championship. So hang on, David. We're going to run to the break. We're going to come back. We're going to catch up with Coach Nichols. We're going to hear from the folks down from South Florence here coming up in just a moment. And David will be back with us. We're going to catch up with Coach Fountain from Clinton after 11. And Scott Early will be with us as well. So we got a bunch to do. Glad David's with us from his hospital bed down at Trident Hospital in Charleston. Not even a heart attack can sideline that guy. We'll be back after the break.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at scattle.org. Beef. It's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff program.
Farm Bureau insurance agents live and work right in our community. They're not at the end of some 1-800 number thousands of miles away. The personalized attention, competitive rates, and a reputation for fast, fair claim service sets Farm Bureau insurance apart from the competition. For your auto, home, and life insurance needs, trust Farm Bureau Insurance. In Clinton and Lawrence, give Buddy Bridges a call at 864-984-0413 or stop by the office at 726 East Main Street in Lawrence to see how local makes a difference.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hostetler-Brown. Helping an aging loved one arrange for their care can be one of the most difficult things you will ever do. Fortunately, you don't have to navigate this maze alone. Lawyer Lisa's knowledgeable life care team can lead you down the right path. Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Avoiding excess financial stress from the holidays doesn't take a Christmas miracle. All it takes is a Christmas loan from Founders Federal Credit Union. Our Christmas loan is designed to ease your Yuletide expenses so you can focus on what matters most, spreading joy and love. With our great rates, flexible repayment options, and outstanding service, you'll be ready for whatever the holidays might throw your way. Visit foundersfcu.com/Christmas loan to unwrap your own magic this Christmas. Relax with Founders Federal Credit Union. Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA. Membership qualification required. Required.
All right, it's been quite the night here at South Carolina State. What a ball game we just saw here in the 4A championship. South Florence 42, Westside 41. Quite the day yesterday as well, with two more championships being decided. Let's talk about the 1A championship. David Shelton, of course, is with us. Maybe his nurse will let him hang with us a little longer. I don't know. He has a way with nurses, perhaps. The 1A state championship game, and it goes to a familiar place, Abbeville, and it was a dominating performance. It was 58-20. The Panthers, they do it again. I believe this is number 13 for Abbeville. Coach Jamie Nichols is joining us now. He's got a bunch of those, and maybe I don't know if that was the finest moment in the championship game or not yesterday, Coach, but your guys played extremely well. Congratulations. How you feeling here the night after?
Weather, but other than that, we're doing really good, Phil.
We missed your first part there, Coach. You said something about the weather?
Yeah, I said my throat's a little sore after getting doused with water in 30-degree weather, but other than that, we're doing good.
Okay. They did hit you up pretty good, didn't they?
They got me pretty good. I told the guys to pour it out, but I guess they didn't listen to me that time.
Well, I'm sure it was a wet ride home, but a joyous one. What did you think of your guys' overall performance?
I thought it was a great culmination to a great year. You know, we got beat early in the year by a really good Batesburg team, but our kids really came together and got better as the year went on, and then, you know, beat some really good teams in the playoffs, and was really lucky to come away with the championship.
Well, you have a superstar individual player in DeMarcus Leach, who's headed to South Carolina. And he was tremendous yesterday. And you said afterwards, you were asked about him, and you talked about him not just in terms of what he has meant to the football team, but what he has meant to you personally and to the community. Can you kind of expound on what you were talking about there?
Yeah, he's a good student, does things the right way, and you know, we're just glad to have him 4 years. I hate to see him go, but it's time for him to go on. He'll enroll early at South Carolina and play in the Shrine Bowl next week. You know, just to fitting into a great career.
What do you like most about his skills and his talents?
Well, he can do it all. You know, he can run. He's got the size, and he's just grown into being a good leader, unselfish. I love his unselfishness.
David Shelton is with us from his suite at the Trident Hotel. Trident Hospital. He wishes it was a hotel. His suite at the Trident Hospital in Charleston. I know you have a question or two for the coach.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations, Jamie. You know, we go back a long ways, and we've talked a lot of football over the years. And I told you back in August that I thought y'all were going to be one of the best Class A teams ever. And but you certainly could not have expected what happened last night. I mean, you don't go into a game going, you know what, I think we can beat Cross by 38 points.
Yeah, and it's good to hear your voice, David. Glad to see you doing well. We've been praying for you up this way. But, yeah, I got a lot of respect for Cross's program, their head coach. But, you know, it just kind of snowballed, and we got momentum and a couple of turnovers. And before you know it, you look up and you're up 30-6, kind of let them back in right before the half, but then came back out and really dominated the third quarter.
And what about the run in the playoffs? You mentioned that you played really good teams, but you, and I don't want to say every wins were easy, but the margin of victory was comfortable. And so I mean, y'all really did peak at the right time, didn't you?
We really did. We were lucky to beat Lamar. They really came into our place, had us down double digits with about 3 minutes left in the first half. We scored, then we go up 17, and then they come back and cut it to 3, and we got the ball with 6 minutes left, and we're able to score with virtually no time on the clock.
Well, you put this one away, second and third quarters. You scored 44 points in those two in the 24 minutes combined there. So whatever you told him at halftime, certainly worked. You came out and outscored them 21-0. What does 2025 look like for you?
Well, it'll be a rebuilding year. We lost a lot of good seniors, but I like our young kids. It just depends on how hard we'll work in the weight room and come together as a team. Maybe some bumps in the road early with our tough non-region schedule, but we're excited to take a little time off and then after Christmas go back to work.
Who you got non-conference next year?
Yeah, same as this year. We'll play Southside Christian, Powdersville, Batesburg, 96. We may try to pick up another game because we got a double bye in there if there's somebody we can make a little money off of, and we'll be looking for a game here right after Christmas.
You want me to give you Tom Knotz's number?
I think I'll pass on that one after watching some of their game today.
Yeah,
they do a really good job.
Have you ever? I'm sure you watched the 4A game just finished up. Have you ever seen a weirder game in terms of like the number of plays that Westside had, but the yardage that they compiled?
Really, and it give South Florence a lot of credit. Their kids never quit, and they kept doing what they do best. And I was telling our coaches, we were texting back and forth. You just never know about those state championship games, how they're going to go. You just have to be prepared for it all.
So, 13 state championships for Abbeville. That puts y'all, up there near the top with the best. How many different classes, I guess classes is the way to put it, different classes have you won state championships in? This was 1A. I know you've won it in 2A. Were y'all ever 3A back in the day?
71 team was 3A.
Okay.
So we won it in 3 classifications.
Wow. That says something. Well, we congratulate you once again and enjoy the holidays. Are y'all doing anything in the town to honor the team, or have you already done something?
We're supposed to be in the Christmas parade tomorrow. We came in last night about 2 o'clock and rode through the square and got off on the square, and you wouldn't believe it was packed.
Wow.
With people on a Thursday night. So football's alive and well in Abbeville.
Ain't no doubt. Coach, we thank you so much for being with us, and have a great holiday. Thank you so much.
Same to you, Phil, and David.
Thank you.
Too.
Thank you, Coach Nichols from Abbeville. Okay, David. First of all, is your nurse not going to make you put the phone down at 11, is she?
Well, technically she's left the room, so I'm gonna do it as long as I can.
She'll let you. Okay.
Yeah, because I told her what I was doing, and she was like, "You could be talking on the radio about high school football." I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's kind of my job."
Yeah.
She said, "What kind of job is that?" I said, she said, "Well, your doctors want you resting." I said, "I am as relaxed as I could be."
Tell her.
I said, "I am chilled right now."
Tell her it's the kind of job that puts you in the hospital eventually if you're not allowed to do it. Yeah. Okay, David, hang on as long as you can. We got a great second hour coming up. High School Scoreboard brought to you by Founders Federal. We'll be right back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Ron Taylor. Texas has sued a New York doctor. Also, there is certainly the Consumer Bankers Association and other banks are taking legal action against the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Correspondent Mike Hempren reports on this story.
Some banks and banking trade groups are suing the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau over a rule that limits overdraft fees banks can charge. The rule, set to take effect in October, is part of the Biden administration's campaign to reduce junk fees consumers incur on a daily basis. Banks argue that without overdraft protection, desperate consumers will instead lean on worse, unregulated services to ease their crunch. They claim that CPFB is exceeding its regulatory authority with the new rule. I'm Mike Hempel.
Also at townhall.com, there was an emergency landing in New York after a departing jet struck a bird. Correspondent Jackie Quinn has the story.
It happened Thursday night as an American Airlines jet leaving LaGuardia Airport hit a bird on takeoff, which disabled one of the engines. The pilot of the Airbus A321 declared an emergency and was instructed to land at New York's Kennedy Airport. The jet was able to taxi on its own to the terminal for an inspection, but the nearly 200 passengers and crew who were expecting to arrive in Charlotte, North Carolina, were told the flight couldn't leave until the morning. I'm Jackie Quinn.
The military has brought an American who was imprisoned in Syria for 7 months out of the country. That's according to 2 U.S. officials who said Travis Timmerman has been flown to Jordan on a U.S. military helicopter. The 29-year-old Timmerman told the Associated Press earlier today he had gone to Syria on a Christian pilgrimage and was not ill-treated while there. You'll find more at townhall.com. I'm Ron Taylor.
New administration has hinted at one of its boldest moves yet, America's return to the gold standard. Backing the U.S. dollar with gold would create stability in a time of rapid economic change, pushing the price of gold higher than we've seen in decades. Those who act now could be positioned to benefit the most. Premier Gold specializes in helping those with a 401k, IRA, or other types of retirement accounts utilize a little-known loophole to move some of their savings into physical gold. Today, they'd like to send you a free gold standard kit to help you decide if this process is right for you. Call 606-800-8000 to take advantage of current rollover policies. Early action on physical gold could position your portfolio for maximum growth. Call Premier Gold at 606-800-8000. Call 606-800-8000 now. Premier Gold is not a financial advisor. Please consult with your advisor before investing. Call 606-800-8000.
President Emmanuel Macron has named his new prime minister after a historic parliamentary vote ousted the previous government last week. We hear more on the story from international correspondent Charles de Ledesma, reporting from London.
Francois Bayrou, who's 73, is a crucial partner in Emmanuel Macron's centrist alliance, as well as a well-known figure in French politics for decades. His political experience is seen as key in efforts to restore stability, as no single party holds a majority at the National Assembly in Paris. Bayrou was recently cleared in a case relating to embezzlement of European Parliament funds. Former Prime Minister Michel Barnier resigned last week following a no-confidence vote prompted by budget disputes in the National Assembly, leaving France without a functioning government. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
You'll find breaking news and analysis, more stories, more headlines at townhall.com. I'm Ron Taylor. Stocks end on a mostly down week, mixed.
Want to hear my success story? I'm Fran Halloran, the money coach. I'm celebrating a decade of partnering with The Point. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. I've used The Point to significantly grow my small business. It started with a meeting with Kevin Cohen. Do you own a small business? Are you on a limited budget? No problem. Reach out to Kev at 563-8558. Get a customized plan and start your journey to business growth with The Point today. Success is one call away. Take the leap.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. By the way, before we do what's supposed to happen here, thank you for pushing the button.
It's a Friday night in South Carolina, and that means high school football. Welcome to the Founders Federal High School Scoreboard with Phil Kornblut and David Shelton. We've got all the scores from across the state, plus game reports and interviews with coaches. The High School Scoreboard is proudly brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now, let's head to the Scoreboard Studios in Columbia. Here's Phil Kornblut.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's our second hour of the High School Scoreboard on this last Friday night of the high school football season in South Carolina. Extended a week because of the hurricane. And we saw one heck of a game tonight with South Florence winning the 4A state championship, defeating Westside 42-41. We have a hot call. We have a hot call from Billy Baker of the High School Sports Report, who is down on the field right now with South Florence coach Drew Marlowe. Hello, Billy.
Bill, the last two people standing on the field at SC State is Billy Baker and Drew Marlowe, and he's holding the state championship trophy proudly in his hand. Tonight's game was South Florence's ability to run the ball and eat the clock, but Westside had some great passing plays. Cutter Woods, for all you Gamecock fans, 11 of 19, 419 yards and 6 touchdowns. Cutter left it all on the field. On the opposite side of the field, probably the player of the game, Jaden Sellers, the brother of South Carolina quarterback Lennar Sellers, 7 catches tonight, 121 yards and 3 touchdowns. But Coach Marlowe will tell you it's a team effort. At the conclusion of his 5th season at South Florence High School, Drew Marlowe and the South Florence Bruins take home the trophy. And here's Coach Marlowe standing at the 35-yard line on a cold night at SC State, but a happy cold night. Here's Coach Marlowe.
Oh, he's not feeling that.
Hello.
Coach, congratulations, Phil Kornblut, and also we have David Shelton with us from his hospital bed in North Charleston. So congratulations from all of us to you. What a ball game.
Thank you so much. It was unbelievable.
When did you think you had it won?
Oh my gosh! When it was over, I kept asking people, "Is the game over?" I don't know. I still hadn't figured it out. Just super proud of our kids, the way that they fought tonight. I think we trailed most of the game, pretty much. I think, and just kept fighting, and found a way to make one play at the end. You know, kind of the one play that we couldn't make last year.
Well, I'll tell you what, you look at the game, in boxing terms, I kind of compare it to Westside being Mike Tyson and just delivering blow after blow, and you guys being like Sugar Ray Leonard, just pound, and finally knock them out that way. Two different ways to do it, and at the very end, you found a way to get it done.
Yep. Boxing matches, that's a good one. They were throwing haymakers and scoring fast. And, you know, normally you want your offense to stay out there to rest your defense, and we kind of needed the opposite thing to happen for us tonight. We kind of need our defense to not let them score in 1 and 2 plays so that our O-line could get a little bit underneath them. But, man, they were tough tonight, and our tailbacks ran the ball hard, and we kind of looked like an old-timey offense tonight. You know, we just ran power counter, buck sweep, and did it a whole bunch of times and ate up the clock and found a way to, hit a few explosives here and there and win it at the end.
Did you expect them to go for 2 at the end?
I did, yeah. As soon as they scored, I was telling our coaches they're going for 2. You know, I thought that they would end it. I would have done the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. I think that's the right thing to do. You score, and the defense is a little emotional because they just give it up, and sometimes you can catch them off guard. And, what a play we made in the end zone.
Yeah, what did you see? I mean, they ran a trick play, and I guess it really didn't fool you.
It was sort of a reverse pass kind of deal, yeah. And then, we had a guy there and it's freaking tipped up in the air, and your heart just drops when Westside's got so many athletes out there, man. When the ball's tipped up in the air, you're just so afraid that somehow they're going to come down with it, and they didn't. And, we recovered the onside kick. They kicked it about 4 times. It kept being offsides. And then, we just needed 1 first down and had a bad play and ended up having to punt it. Messiah, our quarterback punted it down there to like the, 1 or 2 yard line.
1 yard line.
And I think that was our only punt of the night probably. But, just super proud of our kids.
Yeah. David Shelton, I'm sure you have a quick question or two for the coach.
Yeah, just one.
Y'all got to go kind of fast. They're about to run me out of here.
Okay.
a lot of emphasis on your running backs and Jalen Sellers and Messiah, but you kind of hit on it a little bit. Talk about the offensive line tonight. I watched the game and I was watching the line, and man, there were some drives where they just totally dominated the football game.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm telling you, yes, we had some skill guys make some great plays. Our defense made one more play at the end, but when we got here, this is the team, and I told them this before we came here. I said, this is the team that we set out to build 5 years ago, one that could line up in two tight ends and impose their will on the other team and break them in the end. And I thought that tonight was as dominant of a performance of an offensive line in the state championship game as you could ask for.
Yeah. All right, last thing, we'll let you go. You got any more Sellers coming down the pike?
Boy, I wish. No. But super special kids, special family. I don't just say that because they're great players. Obviously, you love your great players, but great kids. Their dad's done an unbelievable job. Mommy and dad, but done an unbelievable job raising them. But their dad, raising them to become great men. And they're going to be successful in whatever they do in life. They're going to be successful in football for a while, but when they leave football, whatever's next for them, they're going to be successful in that too.
Well, you're successful too, sir. And congratulations once again. That's 2 in 3 years, and you got it going. Congratulations, and thank you for taking time out to be with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for your coverage and everything you do for high school sports.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Drew Marlowe, and thank you, Billy Baker, with the hot call from on the field here at South Carolina State. All right, let's go to the break, and then we'll come back, have Coach Corey Fountain with us. So, JP, let's hit the break. That'll give you a chance to dial up Coach Fountain, and we'll talk about, we heard from Monty Dutton earlier. We'll find out what the coach has been doing since he won that championship yesterday for Clinton. And Coach Scott Early, he'll be joining us here in a little bit. And then once they are wrapped up with their writing duties, Chris Deering and Lou Bajak, one if not both, will join us. And we'll start talking about the 2 games tomorrow as well. High School Scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosteller Brown. Did you know it's possible to avoid probate court after you die, regardless of what you own? Why put your loved ones through a long, stressful public process when there are better options for your family? Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Avoiding excess financial stress from the holidays doesn't take a Christmas miracle. All it takes is a Christmas loan from Founders Federal Credit Union. Our Christmas loan is designed to ease your Yuletide expenses so you can focus on what matters most, spreading joy and love. With our great rates, flexible repayment options, and outstanding service, you'll be ready for whatever the holidays might throw your way. Visit foundersfcu.com/Christmas loan to unwrap your own magic this Christmas. Relax with Founders Federal Credit Union. Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA. Membership qualification required. Required.
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
Touchstone Energy cooperative members save more on electricity, and members save more on insurance, groceries, healthcare, restaurants, travel, concerts, and sporting events through Co-op Connections. Touchstone Energy is an alliance of the member-owned electric cooperatives, and as a member, the power is yours. Experience the power of co-op membership with Touchstone Energy and find out how much you can save on electricity and a whole lot more at touchstoneenergy.com.
Okay, we're rolling along on this last Friday night of the high school football season in South Carolina. We are in the press box at South Carolina State. 4 state champions have been crowned. 2 today, Dutch Fork and South Florence. 2 yesterday in Abbeville. We heard from Coach just a little while ago, and also Clinton. Abbeville, Clinton. You can't really talk state championships in this state without mentioning those 2 towns, because I think between them now they've got I think it's 22 between them. Let's welcome in from Clinton High School, Coach Corey Fountain, who gets his first with the Red Devils with their win yesterday. It was a big win. It was a lopsided game for them, 35-6 over Barnwell. Coach, welcome in. Congratulations once again. How you feeling here the night after?
It's a great day to be a Red Devil, man.
What did you do today?
I went and had bus duty at 7:30 a.m. Then, I did some inventory of equipment and hung out with some of my coaches, talked about the game, and went and visited our local Carolina Stitches. They do T-shirts and stuff, and they had some sweatshirts for us already made. So that's kind of how my day went. But when you're taking up equipment after a win, it's a lot better than taking up equipment after a loss, that's for sure.
Oh, no question about that. When you reflect on the game, I think maybe, your defense, you shut them out the last 3 quarters. You win 35-6. So, the defense really shined for you yesterday. Obviously, you ran the ball like you normally do, 312 yards, but that defense was outstanding.
It was, and they've been good for us during the playoffs. Our playoff run was a grind. We had Chester, then we had Batesburg-Leesville, then we had Fairfield Central, all of which are really good teams. And to come out with the ball bouncing our way in the playoffs and being able to play in the state championship game, I just thought they really turned it up a notch in the state championship game.
So the crowd that turned out yesterday was impressive for Clinton, and we know y'all have great support, regular season games and postseason games. Your folks always travel, but it had to be maybe considering the things the town has gone through here during this football season, had to be maybe a little extra special to see that kind of support, and I imagine you got a great greeting when you got back to town.
Yeah, it was really awesome. See and to hear them during the game, it just made it electrifying. And then they were all waiting when we got back and lining up the streets, blowing horns, waving, cameras out, video. And it was just a really special moment for our players and our coaches and our community.
David Shelton is with us, Coach, from the hospital there in North Charleston, Trident, where he's been watching everything and keeping up. And, David, you have a question for the coach, or is the nurse about to shut you down?
Well, she is checking my blood pressure right now, and if it ain't good, you're going to get disconnected. So, but no, I do want to ask Corey. When you took that job, Corey, what I saw last night when I was watching the game was 1980s Clinton High School football. When you took that job, did you want to rebuild the old culture and add in your thing, or because it was a perfect marriage? It seemed like you were the perfect guy for Clinton High School football.
I felt like it's a place that God led me to. I know I'd already been in Lawrence with Lawrence High School, the rival, but I knew the tradition that Clinton had, and I felt like it was a time for change with me, and it was an opportunity to rebuild a program that had a storied history, and I knew that the offense that I was running at Lamar would be a perfect fit for the blue-collar mentality of Clinton High School, and just went in and went to work, man. The weight room was a big part of that, the strength and conditioning, and it still is, and I think you've got to build kids from the inside out, make them believe that they can win, build them up in the weight room, give them some confidence, and that's what we were able to do. And God put together a great coaching staff with the guys that I'm able to coach with, and put some great players on these teams, and it started with the 4-7 team who understood that it was going to take a lot of work, and the other kids saw that, you know.
You know, I in August on the preseason show with Phil when we talked about each classification, I picked Clinton to win 2A, and as we were going through the playoffs, Phil kept saying, you know, who do you like in 2A? I said, dude, I picked Clinton. I'm not getting off Clinton. I said, I said, when you pick a team, you gotta stick with your pick. But so you made me very happy. But I do want to apologize for not calling you Monday. We communicated email, and I was supposed to call you, and you gave me your number, and some other things happened. But
prayers for you, man. I heard you were sick and in the hospital, so prayers up for you.
Well, I appreciate it, but great job, and it was great watching y'all play last night.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Coach, we'll let you go. I know it's been a long day. I would think I'm going to talk to the principal there at Clinton. I would think a championship coach would not have to meet the buses at 7 o'clock in the morning, but what do I know?
Nah, man. It's a pleasure, man. It's an opportunity. I love seeing the kids get off the bus, the excitement. I do bus duty every day. So, you know, seeing those kids get off the bus, being excited about being a Red Devil, that's what it's all about, man. It's all about the whole school, not just the football team. It's the community. It's the school. We're one family.
No doubt. We thank you. Congratulations once again. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you again next football season.
Awesome. Go Big Red.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Okay. Corey Fountain, you know, I mean, David, you still with us, or they've shut you down?
No, I'm still here.
You're still there? Okay.
I'm sure.
I don't want to get in the way of Coach Ratchet there. I mean, Nurse Ratchet, Coach Ratchet, Nurse Ratchet.
The VP was pretty good.
Oh, good. That's good news.
Was pretty good. So
you know, this is a first.
I told her that I was relaxed. I said, "This is the least stressful thing I ever do on a Friday night."
We've never had a hospital guest host, and we've never had him on the air with his blood pressure being taken. So this is all we're breaking new radio ground here by the minute. So let's don't go any farther than that.
I've always wanted to leave a legacy.
Yeah.
when it comes to football scoreboard shows, I think I'm going to get a shot at the Hall of Fame.
No doubt. Let's don't try and match this. Let me send a message to JP that Coach Early is standing by and ready for us. So JP, anytime you want to ring him up, we'll get him on board and chat with him a little bit. So Clinton, 35-6, a very impressive win. Abbeville, a very impressive win. I mean, we're seeing Dutch Fork. We're seeing the traditional powers here so far. And South Florence is sort of a newbie when it comes to winning these state championships, but they've won 2 of the last 3. So, I mean, we're seeing repeat performers here, David.
Yeah, and I think of the 3, of the 4, that was really the only one that was considered a quote-unquote upset. I think most people that cover high school football in South Carolina, the experts like me and Lou and Chris and, you know, Ian Guerin and all us, I think everybody kind of thought West Side was going to win the game. But, man, you just and Dutch Fork was favored and Abbeville was favored and Clinton was favored. But, man, South Florence just showed up. And you know, tomorrow could be the same thing. I think Oceanside will beat Belton Honey Pass, but would not be shocked one bit if Belton Honey Pass beat Oceanside. And then that last game, I don't even know. I don't even know. Irmo Northwestern, I don't know if I can pick a winner. That, you know, I think what I'll do is pick an over/under in total points scored, and it'll be about 90.
They're going to keep the scoreboard plenty busy, but no busier than what we saw tonight. Let's welcome in Coach Scott Early, Executive Director, South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association, former head coach at Westside, state championship winning coach at Myrtle Beach. And I'm sure you were taking that all in tonight from up in Anderson. So what did you think of that one?
I mean, to that point, I was 3-0 on my pick, and now I'm 3-1. But that was hard to describe. I mean, it was. I don't know, Phil. It's hard to describe the ending, and you know, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. That was amazing. It was unreal.
Well, I know you're.
You know, it was a clinic on how to run power and counter and throw the ball, and you know, 12 with all that stuff, and then at the end, the ball's took out of 12's hands and it's left up to. I mean, it's just puzzling. But you know, when you're in those situations, you do what you think's best for your team. So I'm not at all being critical. I'm just saying that was a weird ending of the 4A state championship game.
Do you concur? I mean, obviously Brian Lane thought it was the right call to go for it. Coach Marlowe said he agreed that he would have done the same thing. David disagrees, but he's been pretty steadfast in not going for two in his career. What'd you think?
I mean, with 151 on the clock and 12 playing for you know, kick the extra point, play the run, and the worst thing that happens is you go to overtime. And, you know, but that's, I mean, different people look at things different ways. So I'm not saying that's the right way to do it. It's just, you know, last year with the taking the ball out of 12's hand and a tip pass that leads to the, you know, to getting the ball back and being able to score. And then again, you know, the guy, you know, I mean, you don't take the ball out of Brady's hands. So, I mean, it's different, but maybe they saw something on film that they could do that and be successful. Maybe they practice that 2-point play all year. You just don't ever know unless you're at practice every day. So
yeah,
I'm the last one that's going to be judgmental. I'm just very surprised.
Sure. Well, look, you've coached some outstanding quarterbacks in your time, but you've always, ever since Culler Woods emerged on the scene up there, you've always been a big supporter and told us how good he is and what his future will look like. But I mean, the show he put on tonight with his big passes and his deep passes, I mean, it was incredible. What does that portend for him, you think, down the road when he gets to South Carolina?
Well, I mean, you know, I've said all along, you know, and nobody's more familiar with my background and quarterbacks I've had and teams we've coached than you, but he's the best quarterback I've ever been around, and a humble, just a great person. I mean, he has, you know, I used to keep a sheet. Bill Parcells had a sheet that he went by on the 10 traits that a quarterback needs to be highly successful. I always used to keep that in my desk, and I always used to, you know, all the years of, you know, Drew and Everett and all these quarterbacks, I used to look at that and just, you know, check them off. And Cutter Woods has them all, you know, and I think that, you know, no matter what happens at South Carolina or whatever, I just think he's a prototypical. I think he'll play on Sunday. So, but again, that's just my opinion. So
yeah,
we'll just have to see what the future holds to see if I'm right or wrong or how it plays out. But he's the best I've ever been around and the best I've ever coached. So,
what did you make of South Florence, their offensive line? Over 400 rushing yards, just the way that they could respond to those big bombs by, you know, throwing haymakers on the ground.
I mean, I just thought that Drew Marlowe played to his strengths and coached one of the most unbelievable games I've ever seen. To stay that patient and to know that the only chance you have to win this game is to remain patient. Just take what they give you and just be patient and see what happens in the end. I thought it was a masterful performance by Drew and South Florence, and you know, my hat's off to him.
Heck of a ball game, Coach. Can you hang with us a few more minutes?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, David, you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay. All right, everybody, hang on. We want to come back and let Coach share his thoughts on these other games so far, and then we'll talk about what's coming up tomorrow, and then the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, first of the All-Star games. Well, we got both All-Star games on the same day, but that'll be the first one, and that's coming up a week from tomorrow in Myrtle Beach. We'll be right back.
AccuClean is a veteran-owned and local carpet cleaning company located in the Midlands for over 20 years. Call AccuClean today at 803-957-1202 to make sure your carpets are refreshed this holiday season. Once again, that's AccuClean at 803-957-1202. We hope to see you soon.
I'm Kimberly Cockrell from Lexington. I work closely now with MAD South Carolina. In 1993, my best friend Nancy was killed in a drunk driving crash. MAD was there for me and will be there for you if you've been affected by a drunk or drugged crash.
Friends, this is Kevin Cohen. If you've been impacted by one of these tragedies, let MAD help you. Online, it's mad.org, or call them 748-7333. That's 748-7333 for MAD.
With SRN News, I'm Ron Taylor. Exuberant Syrians observed the first Friday prayer since the ouster of President Bashar Assad, gathering in the capital's historic main mosque, its largest square, and around the country to celebrate the end of a half a century of authoritarian rule. The newly installed interim prime minister delivered the sermon at the mosque, declaring that a new era of freedom, dignity, and justice was dawning for Syria. Texas has sued a New York doctor for prescribing abortion pills to a Texas woman via telemedicine. It appears to be the first challenge in the U.S. to a state shield law that's intended to protect prescribers in Democratic-controlled states from being punished by states with abortion bans. The U.S. military has brought an American who was imprisoned in Syria for 7 months out of the country. Travis Timmerman has been flown to Jordan on a military helicopter. The 29-year-old Timmerman told the Associated Press earlier today he had gone to Syria on a Christian pilgrimage and was not ill-treated while he was there. This is SRN News.
After losing 3 games in a row against quality opponents, the Panthers will look to put it all together and get back in the win column this Sunday as they host the Dallas Cowboys. I'm Jim Zoki with a Panthers update after this.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
While the Panthers are disappointed with the outcome of their last 3 games, the progress being shown is undeniable on both offense and defense. Outside linebacker DJ Wanham has made an immediate impact since joining the active roster 4 games ago, and the defense is coming together, including 13 quarterback sacks over the past 3 games.
I feel like it's just the accumulation of the season of us growing, bonding together, working at our craft, and theoretically speaking, for the defense was fresh, so now it's getting more set into it and really learning it, rushing off each other, communicating better in the rush game. Like, it's just an accumulation of things we've been working at all year.
On offense, quarterback Bryce Young has been solid and settled into being the starter. Coach Dave Canales on the development of the second-year signal caller.
The confidence comes from all the hard work, and I think that Bryce gets himself to a point because of all the studying, because of all the challenges in practice, pushing himself and all that, to where when we're in these situations and games, the call comes in, he knows what the call is, and now he's just got to do his part, and that's the cool part, but that's also just a part of what he brought before. And I love seeing it happen over and over in these games. It's consistency, and I think that's something he'd be up here telling you, like, if he prides himself on one thing, it's consistency, and he's just able to continue to show up and just do his one part in those situations.
I'm Jim Zoki on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network, brought to you by Morris Jenkins.
Sweetie, come here. Don't worry. I see a lot of patients with the exact same thing.
Ever since the ice skating rink went in next door?
Or is it more than
Dr. Clark's business is heating up.
So many patients need my help. How will I find time to see all of them?
They need to hire a scheduler, stat.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, cultural enrichment, and all-inclusive fares. Discover more at Viking.com. Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, cultural enrichment, and all-inclusive fares. Discover more at Viking.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the High School Football Scoreboard. It is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Before I forget, let me be sure to thank Founders Federal Credit Union for being a part of what we do here at the Sports Talk Media Network and on the High School Football Scoreboard. They are so good. They are so involved with sports in South Carolina. In fact, bring back Coach Early. I'm sure he will echo those sentiments about Founders Federal and just how involved they are in sports in general in South Carolina and in particular with high school sports, Coach.
Yeah, they've been around so long. They were the first people that I remember back in the day to put logos on the 25 and just pour money into high school athletics, and they've always been a huge supporter.
We appreciate them very much. Before we look ahead, let's get your take on the other games played so far, the other three. What about the way Dutch Fork and Summerville played out today? It was a tight ball game. 2 minutes to go. It's still a one-possession game until Dutch Fork knocked it in. But what can you say about that program and what Coach Tom Knotts is able to do year in and year out? I mean, when you're expected to win every year and you pretty much deliver, that's quite the accomplishment.
Well, I mean, TK's done it his whole career, and the great staple of a great team is, I thought that, and he would know I would say this about him, I thought that Dutch Fork played the sloppiest football game I've seen since TK showed up in Columbia, and they still won. And that just shows you how well a good team, a confident team, a well-oiled machine that just focuses on fundamentals, what can happen when you have a bad day. And, Dutch Fork had a bad day today, but they're still have won, 8 out of the last 9 state championships. And, and again, with what's going on in today's world of football and being centrally located, and, let's see what Irmo does tomorrow night. Irmo Northwestern, you got 2 schools that are, it's in the same community. I mean, it used to be Irmo, and then people started growing towards Chapin, and that became Irmo and Dutch Fork. But you're talking about a 7-9 mile radius of 2 teams that could win the state championship in the Midlands, which is known as a basketball kind of deal. The Midlands is a basketball. It's what happens is when somebody like TK and I'm not going to call any other names, but when those kind of guys move in, the standard has to be raised by everybody else, because you either get better or you get embarrassed. And it's amazing what TK has been able to do for Midlands football in general, not just for Dutch Fork.
Yeah, no question about it. And, I mean, he's going to go down as one of the all-time greats in high school football in the country with 16 state championships to this point. David, your thoughts on Summerville? You know them well from having seen them all season long, in and out, but you know the program well, the coach well. And when they lost their starting quarterback late in the first quarter, they were still able to stay in the ballgame. I thought the backup came in, and the other things they tried to do offensively gave them a chance until the very end.
Yeah, I thought Cooper played pretty well considering the magnitude of the moment. But I will say, Jaden Cummings plays that whole game. They give themselves a real chance. That kid can play, and he makes great decisions. And he's a tough kid. And it's so sad to see in his last game. I mean, it looked like his knee was pretty messed up. But I think, based on kind of going off what Scott said, I thought, people asked me, does Summerville have a chance? And I said, I think Summerville has a chance if Dutch Fork drops down a level. If they don't play to the level that they are capable of playing, I think Summerville can be in the game. And that's what happened. I mean, you're right. Scott's right. I don't think Dutch Fork, I was sitting in this hospital room with my son-in-law, and he was like, they don't look, all that. And I was like, yeah, this is not, this is not what I expected. But as he said, they won the game. And good teams, well-coached teams find a way to win games where they're not at their best. And again, losing the quarterback hurt Summerville. I thought Summerville played extremely hard. I thought Javen Williams, the sophomore running back, and the receiver, Jaden Kelly Murray, the sophomore. I think they jumped on the page today. I think people are going to see them get recruited like crazy. Those two guys can play. So, but Dutch Fork was supposed to win. I think they were the better team, and they got it done, and that's all that matters.
Okay, yesterday, Coach Early, what about Abbeville? Another state championship for them. We had Coach Nichols on with us a little while ago and pointed out now they've won state championships in Class 3A, 2A, and now 1A. And, they were just typical Abbeville football, just line up and run the ball right down your throat and stop it if you can.
Well, let me make one more comment on Summerville just because I totally agree with David. Like the quarterback going out, did that tarnish it a little bit? Yes, but I'm telling you, if I'm naming the MVP and MVP always goes to the winner, the backup quarterback for Summerville, especially on the deep balls, did an unbelievable job. So for that kid to come in that situation and play that well was incredible. So I think Summerville is maybe a year away. Ian's done a great job. They're building that tradition back where they've not won a state championship since 1998. But when you look at Summerville's lineup and you see the sophomores and number 90, the freshmen, I'm telling you, look out for Summerville in the future. They could actually bring Summerville back and physical low country football back, because I'm telling you, Dutchport won the game, but Summerville was the most physical team. So, and then transition to Abbeville, I think at the beginning of the year when they dropped down to 1A, like Coach Wright and everybody else thought, okay, we're all playing for second place, and that played out like that. But it's just a football factory. What else is there to do in Abbeville but play football? And the kids come in the community, they come through the rec leagues. It's not a bunch of transferring and charter, private, AAU handlers. It's just we grew up in this community. We play rec ball, we play middle school ball, we play high school ball, and tradition never graduates. So it was good to see Abbeville and Jamie just do what they do, which is so simplistic, but it's so genuine and real to high school football.
And then before we let you go, touch on the 2A championship with Clinton doing the same thing. And I'm telling you, I think we all know Corey Fountain's one of the best coaches in South Carolina, and he's going to win a bunch of championships there. Same kind of deal with Abbeville that you have in Clinton with the focus on developing young players, moving them up through the organization, through the lower levels, and then when they come up to Red Devil football on the high school level, they're ready to go.
Well, and, Andy B., Keith Richardson, the 8 state championships, Andy B., 2009, and then all those years to hire the perfect guy, Corey Fountain, to bring back tradition. And I don't know if this is true, but I've talked to a few guys tonight. Clinton had the highest attendance so far in the state. They shut the town down. They brought them. If you're in Clinton, you're not worried about a private or a charter or a handler or a recruiter or any of the outside influences. You just know that when you're born in Clinton, South Carolina, if you can run, jump, catch, and throw, you're going to be a Red Devil. And I think there's something to be said for that. And I think this is showing up with the multiplier and the traditional towns of just old school football where you come through the chain and you wait your turn and then you shine. It was good to see. But, congratulations to Clinton and Corey and the Red Devils. It was an awesome performance. And I think they're the one team this year that just kept getting better every single week. And then it was culminated in a state championship for the first time since 2009 with a whole community, a whole visitor side full. They wore white, but they were dominant in their outpouring of their town, their community. I was driving this morning to watched my son graduate at Newberry. I stopped at exit 54 at Starbucks to get a coffee, and all the ladies were talking about was we're a football town. And I think football revolves from the 9-man lines to the wishbone to all the things different people do to spread. It's a copycat business. It's good to see these traditional football towns come back and win state championships.
I agree. It's a lot of fun. Before we let you go, we got the All-Star Saturday, a week from Saturday, beginning with the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl in Myrtle Beach. You guys will be arriving first of the week. Practice begins on Wednesday, and hopefully the rosters are now set. Hopefully they are finished from the Shrine Bowl, plucking guys from your rosters.
We got to replace the quarterback from Somerville, which is I hated to see that, but so we got to do that, and then hopefully everybody's going to be healthy tomorrow in the BHP Oceanside game and the Northwestern Irmo game, and we can all get to the beach with full roster intact. The Shrine Bowl can do the same, and we can have a festive, championship weekend with the Shrine Bowl to North-South, and then when we go home, it's only 3 days to Santa Claus comes, so I think it's all sets up great.
And let's remind everybody, I'm sure you do. I'm not surprised at that, not at all. And you've got the announcement of Mr. Football being worked out between the two games. And where will the finalists be? Are they going to be in Spartanburg? Are they going to be in Myrtle Beach? What's the plan?
They will be in Myrtle Beach, and we will throw it to Spartanburg, and hopefully with us kicking off at 12:30 and playing 12-minute quarters, them kicking off at 1 and playing 15-minute quarters. Hopefully we can correlate all this, and we'll have a Mr. Football announcement in Myrtle Beach, which, touched on the energy and their sponsorship. And, they do everything for this award. So it's well-deserved. And then we'll throw the spotlight to Spartanburg and, do the best we can in today's monitor and adjust college and high school football and all the stuff that's going on. We'll try to make it the best for the student athlete.
Fantastic. Looking forward to being down there. Looking forward to having America's best sideline announcer as part of the broadcast once again, sir.
With new equipment.
With new equipment. With new equipment. You're going to get your new equipment, doggone it. You're getting your new equipment.
Batteries out and panicking and throwing. Yeah, it's going to be. I'll be so stress free.
I hope so, because we like it when you're stress free. We don't like it when you're stressed.
Coach Wilson will do a great job running the game, and I can just have fun with you, which will be great.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Enjoy tomorrow. 2 more games left. Let's see what happens.
Sir. Looking forward to it. All right. Let's hit the break. And David's still with us. David, you still with us?
I'm hanging in there.
Okay, you hang in. We got Chris. He's here. Chris, Lou's coming. All right, we got the gang all together. So we'll chop it up here for the last 10 minutes of the show and dig deep into the minds of Lou and Chris and David about tomorrow and about this year in high school football in South Carolina. We'll be right back.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
Avoiding excess financial stress from the holidays doesn't take a Christmas miracle. All it takes is a Christmas loan from Founders Federal Credit Union. Our Christmas loan is designed to ease your Yuletide expenses so you can focus on what matters most, spreading joy and love. With our great rates, flexible repayment options, and outstanding service, you'll be ready for whatever the holidays might throw your way. Visit foundersfcu.com/Christmas loan to unwrap your own magic this Christmas. Relax with Founders Federal Credit Union. Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA. Membership qualification required. Required.
Touchstone Energy cooperative members save more on electricity, and members save more on insurance, groceries, healthcare, restaurants, travel, concerts, and sporting events through Co-op Connections. Touchstone Energy is an alliance of the member-owned electric cooperatives, and as a member, the power is yours. Experience the power of co-op membership with Touchstone Energy and find out how much you can save on electricity and a whole lot more at touchstoneenergy.com.
Okay, we're back. Our final minutes here on the high school football scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Founders Federal Credit Union. I've only said that like a million times this football season. I think I'd spit it out one more time. David Shelton from his private suite there down in North Charleston at Trident Hospital. How you doing, David?
Hanging in there, but meds are kicking in, bro.
Okay, that's good. That's a good thing. We've got Chris Deering from Prep Red Zone and Lou Bajak from The State and thestate.com. Pick it up, Lou. You were telling us your conversation with Cutter Woods about about the last play and then about not going to the Shrine Bowl.
Yeah, the last play, he said they practice it every Thursday. Usually works. Brian Lane talked to him. He had no regrets of doing it. He said it was open for a second and then it wasn't, and he's like, he had no regrets. And I mean, that's what you do. And we saw it last year with Camden. They did the same thing. Daniel, they went for two. I thought maybe, I mean, like Chris said, maybe you shouldn't have took it out of Cutter's hands, or I would have just kicked the extra point because I mean, I know South Florence was wearing them down. I mean, they're a bigger and more physical team, but I don't know. I thought it was a little too early to go for that. But, hey, Brian Lane's one and knows a lot more football than I do for sure. But it was just a heck of a game, one of the best ever in my 20-plus years of covering high school sports.
Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm okay with the decision to go for two. If I'm in that position, I'm probably going to go for two and – try to win it right there. And unfortunately, it did not work out. But in my story that I'm getting ready to post on Prep Red Zone, I said I don't take the football out of Cutter Wood's hands. He's probably the best player on the field. And they took it out of his hands. It looked like, and Lou, you might have had a little bit better look at it than I did, but it looked like they wanted to throw it back to Woods.
Yes, he was, and he was open for a second there, yeah.
Okay.
And then they hesitated, and then they went, I forget who they threw it to, and it was knocked down.
Yeah, so, I'm going to let Woods create something, run it, throw it. I'm not going to take the ball out of his hands in that situation. And, I get it. They practice this every Thursday. You do those things special all year, and you save it for those type of situations. But, again, if I'm making that call in that situation, the ball's going to stay in Cutter Wood's hands without a question. But, yeah, like Lou just said, fantastic game. One of the best I've seen in my 35 years of doing this. And you can't just – you got to tip your hat to both teams. You hated to see one of them lose. And before – I know we got short on time, but, David, good to hear your voice, brother. We're pulling for you, and, we here if you need anything.
I got you, bro.
Cutter Woods, you asked him about the Shrine Bowl, Lou?
Yeah, he said it was a no-brainer to get on campus and go and start practicing with the Gamecocks and Jaden Sellers. Those two, they talk, pose for pictures, and Lenoris is down there. I got to talk to Lenoris a little bit, what he thought of his little brother's performance, and just a great night for the Sellers family. Marlowe's going to miss no Sellers suiting up for the Bruins anymore.
Yeah, it makes it tough when the the family that feeds your team runs out of kids. You know, those of us who come from small towns, there's always that one family that sends like 7 or 8 athletes to the program. We had the Kingston family back in my day in Atlanta. How about over in Berkeley? They had the Shelton family, didn't you?
They had the Shelton family. They had the Dingle family. The one I think everybody knows the best, at least I do, the Littlejohn family through Gaffney.
Yeah. Bunch of studs.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's been a Littlejohn playing for Gaffney for like 45 years in a row. I could be wrong, but it's been amazing.
Guys, let's talk about tomorrow, the last 2 games of the season here in South Carolina. It's been a long, long season. We wrap it up tomorrow. It's the 3A game, Oceanside and Belton Honeypath. David, what do you think? What are the keys in that game as you see it?
Well, I think Belton Honeypath has to be able to run the football and control it. Oceanside can score, and they can score in a hurry, like Westside.